what is a ladybird deed or a transfer on death deed? So they both can accomplish the same thing, which your goal is to save that house to become an inheritance for your family instead of losing it to Medicaid estate recovery. If you died in a nursing home and you owe the state all that money and they want it back, if you have certain deeds, certain designations on your accounts, you can avoid having the state grab that house for their Medicaid estate recovery. So that's the number one question I get is, how do I pass this house down? How can I prevent Medicaid from putting a lien on my house? Okay, so let's talk about ladybird deeds. Ladybird deed, named after our former First Lady. I learned her name was Claudia. And its corollary, which is a transfer on death deed. So where's the magic with one or either of these deeds? The magic is that they avoid probate. Probate is the process to get through the court. So if you die, you have to get through the court to the other end where your stuff can go to your heirs. Okay, so that's the court process. If it avoids the court process, it just goes all the way around it. One, you avoid the publicity, you avoid the cost, the time involved in going through the attorneys and the courts to get to the other side. So it's always advantageous to go around probate. But the beauty of it is that you can still own your house. I can own my house, put it in a ladybird deed, and on my death, it transfers. So on my death, boom, it automatically goes to my heirs. It didn't go through probate. Or I had a transfer on death deed, which is allowed in certain states. It's the same thing. It's mine until I die. It's in my control, 100%, until I die. And then boom, upon my death, it automatically avoids probate, goes all the way over here and goes to whoever I put on that deed. And avoided the cost, the publicity, the time that it takes to go through probate. Now, those are all valid reasons enough to have these type of deeds. But we're talking about Medicaid. Medicaid can come after what you own at the time of death and put a lien on it, your house, your car, if you owe them money because you ended up passing away in a nursing home. And that's what we're focusing on. I was in a nursing home. I've passed away. Do my kids get anything? And depends on the state you're in and what type of estate planning vehicles you use. You can plan for this so that, yeah, your kids could get your stuff. So let's go back to the ladybird deed. Ladybird deeds are only available in these 5 states. Florida, Michigan, Texas, Vermont, West Virginia. Okay, so that's it. But Florida, that's a big one. A lot of you guys are from Florida. This is Ladybird Johnson, Claudia. Now, the thing about a ladybird deed is I'm going to give it to my son, but he doesn't have any control over it. Nobody, his creditors can't come at his wife, his ex-wife. Nobody can come against it because I own it until I die. I have 100% control and ownership until I die. That is very critical. Transfer on death, like you could do this to your bank account, your checking account. You can have this designation. Not all states allow it. I'll tell you what states here shortly, but it does the same thing. And that is, it avoids the probate. So I put my deed in it as a transfer on death deed, and as soon as I'm dead, boom, it goes around. So transfer on death deeds are allowed in these states. So you can come back to this screen and freeze the screen to see if your state's available. How do you actually do a transfer on death deed? Now, I know I am an attorney, and I know people hate attorneys. It's okay, I get it. And they don't want to use attorneys. You can do your own deed. If you have a copy of your deed, you can make your own deed. There's all kinds of programs on there. And then you can, do it online and then get it notarized and signed and then go down to your courthouse and record it. I don't recommend you do that. I recommend you pay an attorney a couple $100 to do it. It won't cost you very much. You don't have to go to the most expensive guy in town, but you could do it yourself. Okay? Medicaid estate recovery. That's what we're talking about. Medicaid coming against your estate to recover what they paid for your care. So it depends on what state you live in if you can use the ladybird deed. These states allow you to do the transfer on death. The 5 states I told you, Michigan, Texas, Florida, West Virginia, and Vermont, allow ladybird deed. Yeah, I'm even confusing myself. So if your state wasn't on this list, then you're going to need to use an attorney. then hands down, you need to hire an elder law attorney near you to get an irrevocable trust. Now, ideally, that's where you would have gone anyway, but I know a lot of people aren't going to do it. They're going to say my state doesn't necessitate it. It's too small, or they just don't, they're just never going to get around to it. They're never going to hire that attorney, but they would do the ladybird deed, okay? Ideally, you're going to work with an elder law attorney. It's worth the money if you want to try to save your estate for your kids or your grandkids. And an irrevocable trust means you put it in there and you can never change it. Once it's in there, you do not own it. You have nothing. You can have nothing for at least 5 years. That's the current rules, 5-year look back. So if I put everything into an irrevocable trust and I don't own anything, and let's say 6 years, I go into a nursing home, I don't own anything. I don't own anything. The state will pay for my care. Okay, so everyone's like trying to figure out what's this clawback and the liens and the look back, and that's the whole deal right there in 2 sentences. I'm sure you have more questions. Ask me in the comments. We'll do our best we can to answer your questions. If you like this video, you might really like this video. Check it out. And we'd appreciate if you subscribe to our channel so you never miss a great video. We put out one every week. Check in the description below this video for a link to our cheat sheet on Social Security and Medicare. And you can also give us a comment if you have a specific question. Always feel free to call us or email us at the Medicare Family.